I got that string around my finger. What a world and what a life.
Well, I grew up in a small town in Oklahoma, a place called Veneta. Grew up in a place where there was those very wonderful family values. Learned about God when I was very young and became a Christian when I was 9 years old. But many years prior to that, I experienced a lot of adversity in my early years. From the time I was an infant until I was about 14 years of age, I experienced a very severe lung illness, and doctors did not think I would live to be a teenager. But when I was 14, my mom took me to a wonderful ministry in Tulsa, and there I was prayed for, a very fervent prayer of healing, and God restored my health. And a little bit before that, I had started to sing. I debuted at the Tulsa State Fair, singing Over the Rainbow, and that was my first big public performance. I did not win the competition, but I got my first taste of what it's like to be in front of people. So I began to travel all over. After I got well, my mother put about 100,000 miles on her car in 2 years, taking me everywhere to sing in church. And I knew that this was what God had called me to do in my life, and to bring love to people's hearts through the power of music. I had my first experience with Nashville when I was 18. My mom and I flew out here, and we entered me in Nashville Network's You Can Be a Star, which was very similar to our American Idol today. I was competing against other artists and bands. My first show I won doing the song Georgia on My Mind.
Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
The second show I did not win, but I got a chance to meet some very big names in the Nashville music industry, Bella Fleck and Jim Ed Brown. So it was an incredible experience, and it got me familiar with just how exciting it is to be a part of the industry here in Nashville. Well, I went to college at Oklahoma City University and studied music and opera, music and business. So I developed there as a vocalist, and then I went on to the University of Denver, where I got my master's degree in straight vocal performance. My ministry continued to flourish. I began to book myself in churches all over the United States and even around the world. From the time I started singing at 12, I've probably done about 3,000 performances, and it's been so exciting because I've had my hand in so many different elements of recording, performing live, writing music. And so I began to just continue to progress and evolve as an artist, particularly in the area of songwriting, and began to do all types of performances, but still my heart's desire was singing in the church. At one point, I decided to do a show that would involve a lot of my original gospel music as well as some great old classics. So I performed at the Coleman Theater, this beautiful historic theater in Oklahoma, and one of the songs that was really special to me was a great old spiritual called Wade in the Water.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children. Wade in the water, God's gonna trouble the water.
My life went along for many years, going quite well. And then back in 2008, I went through a series of tremendous loss. the most defining loss in my life was the loss of my father, which was very unexpected about 5 years ago. And so through those dark times, I started really crying out to God and asking Him what path my life was going to take next. I continued to, enjoy and have a passion for singing in the church, but I believed He had some other things that He wanted me to do beyond the walls of the church, to minister to people everywhere. And so I sat down, and over the course of just a few days, I began to have this vision in my heart about bringing back this great old music from the 40s and 50s, some 60s music, but songs from the big band era, classic songs that were performed during the Great Depression, and people were looking for something hopeful again. And I decided to bring that back, but with a new sound. I got one of the greatest producers in Nashville, Robert White Johnson. I hired the best studio musicians I could find, and we came up with this great project called Singing the Sky Blue. And as a result of that, I had a signature dance created, a line dance called I've Got the World on a String, Frank Sinatra favorite. And through that experience, I got an opportunity to travel to France, where the music and dance was debuted before the French people. And what a thrill that was.
I got the world on a string, I'm sitting on a rainbow, got that string around my finger. What a world, what a life, I'm in love.
About 2 years ago, right after the Singing the Sky Blue project was released, I called the University of Denver, where I had been a former student, and tried to get to the symphony conductor there at the school, and was not able to reach him by phone. I did leave him a message and sent him some of my music, and within a few months we decided that that would be a great next step for me. He invited me to sing with the Philharmonic, and it was one of the most thrilling performances of my life. There was maybe 70, 80 instruments behind me in an old historical church, probably 100 years old, packed out venue, and just the spirit of Christmas could be felt everywhere. And that was the beginning of my love for the symphony. I had worked with symphonies in college when I had principal roles in operas, but I'd never experienced anything as a solo artist as this type of performance was. So it went well, and as a result of that performance, I'm getting other offers. I'm going to be working with the Tulsa Praise Orchestra, the Bartlesville Symphony. About a year ago, I decided I wanted to try to give back to young people what I have learned in my experience as a performer over these 30 plus years. And so as an educator of music, I at one time worked at Belmont University and David Lipscomb here in Nashville. I thought I could utilize those skills and design a camp that would help expose young people to all different facets of music. vocal technique, vocal health, how to take care of your voice, the longevity of your voice, marketing yourself as a performer, writing music, dancing, instruments, harmonies. And so as a result of that idea, I put together an entire curriculum and partnered with teachers all over the state of Oklahoma, primarily teachers that I knew. Paula Heisley is from my hometown, then Charity Epperson in Claremore, Oklahoma. And what I began to experience was just this incredible amount of creativity that these young people have. They just need to be encouraged. And I also found out that there are schools that are cutting or eliminating altogether the fine arts. And so this followed my vision very well. We moved it into Colorado, and then just a few weeks ago I did some work with some young children in Lebanon, Tennessee. And my hope is to take it nationwide, where young people can be exposed to a career in the arts in some facet, whether that be as an educator, a leader in their church, a church worship leader, part-time community theater. They can get the skills to know what to study and what to be exposed to when they get to college. There have been so many pastors and music leaders, friends, wonderful people along the way that have supported me, because it's not always easy being an artist, and there's those valleys, those times where you think, should I keep going with this? But I'm so glad I have, because I know that God has put me on this path, and He has a plan for every person's life. To think that I was a little girl that was so ill and frail, could not even utilize my lungs. I couldn't even blow up a balloon when I was a child. I was so sick for so long. But through that miracle that God did in my life, I'm a professional singer. I have to have my lungs to sing. It shows me the greatness of God and how you should never give up on your dreams. Whatever you have in your heart to do, know that you can do it with God's help, and a lot of determination, and never giving up on the desires of your heart. He did it for me, and I know that He'll do it for you too. Well, I have a website, elizabethmontgomerymusic.com, or Facebook, Elizabeth Montgomery Music, and I stay up to date with that a lot. I answer any messages I get from fans. I like to be engaged with people that follow my music.